Hi guys, how have you been? I know I haven't been posting on YouTube channel for some time. It is mostly because I've been recording my podcast and that's just a longer format, and I feel like sometimes when I post it on here on YouTube it doesn't really do that well. But I also realize I don't care. I still want to post. I still have, stuff to share that I want to talk about, show you guys. And if YouTube algorithm doesn't like it, so be it. If it reaches 2 of you, I'm very happy. So in this video, I wanted to show you kind of how I work on the outline or the line work for my comic. And because this is exactly what I'm doing right now, and I thought it would be a great idea to just show you how does it work, what is my process, and what I'm thinking about when I'm doing it, and just gonna go over certain things and just talk about it, just share my work process, and maybe it helps some of you. And as you can tell, I'm actually recording as the screen is playing. So basically what you see on my screen is happening in real time. I'm talking and moving this Photoshop document. So yeah, hi guys. So let me walk you through kind of what I'm doing and what I like to do when I am doing my lines. So for that, we need to bring up chapter 10, and I kind of gonna explain to you what I'm doing and how I usually block my pages and how I go with the process. So typically, as I just start blocking my pages, I do not really care about how things look like. Sometimes things can look like this. Absolutely kind of rough. I need to just understand when people are standing, the composition of things. Sometimes there are pages that literally look like so, some font and some text is just thrown around, and just for me to understand kind of what type of dialogue should happen on this page in particular. And sometimes some more of these things, fuck off. Very intense page, as you can tell by the lines. But some pages are really not coherent at all. It's very difficult to understand what's going on unless you are me and you know what I mean by that. And sometimes it's really to just kind of remind me what I'm thinking I want on this page. For example, I just want to go through all the pages as fast as possible, kind of block my thoughts in, but at the same time, I don't want to spend time on the page because, I'm thinking about the plot progression maybe within this many pages, right? I want to kind of plot what's going to happen and kind of outline this. And it would be, for example, if you're a writer, to describe this narratively, it would maybe take you 5 minutes tops to say, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. But as you're drawing, you cannot do it as fast. So I have to do stuff like this, something really, really rough, to just kind of block it out so that when I go through pages more slowly, I remember what I meant. And also sometimes pages just do not survive. Sometimes I go through my pages and I block what I want to write, and sometimes I cut it away. Not cut it away, cut it out. And I have, version 1, I have some old pages. So version 1, it's kind of the same chapter, the original block of the pages that I did. And I created a folder calling it version 1. And then I have the same pages right now here. And I just do a second pass where I might cut some pages out, add some pages. And usually how I even do this, how would I block my pages? I would, for example, start with page 1. I would just create a page that is completely empty. This is where it will always start. Just create a document, and I usually name my chapters and my pages. The first digit is the chapter number, and then I have dash, and I have the number of the page, and I call them 0 something. That's my personal preference. So typically how the process would start, I would just block my first page. I would press Ctrl S, save it. After I did this, I will do right from here, because I don't want to create new documents and just continue this stuff. I would say Ctrl Shift S and save this page as page 2. And I would still have kind of information from the first page here to just remember what was going on that page, and then I would create another layer, draw it, and delete the old layer, and we'll have another page. So this is kind of the process that I do when I go through my pages, and I just keep numbering them. And then when I do second passes, for example, sometimes I realize some pages need to be deleted, some things needs to be moved around, and I open several pages at once. And if I need to add pages, which I typically do, like my first pass is just rough plotting, and as I go through my pages and kind of like read through again what I created, then I think, okay, we need extra beat here, this moment should be extended, and then I add pages. And personally, I just continue doing. If I have like page 11, I rename the page 11 as 11.1, 11.1, 11.2. So this is my solution. And sometimes these pages can really, really go, like, for example, we have like page 20.1, 2, 3, 4, page 21, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Jesus. It actually might be added. And then typically, sometimes after I know that the blocking of the pages and line is done, I then rename pages properly, so it's easier for me to see what page it is. Because sometimes if I don't do that and I post pages when it's time for them to be posted, I post page like 20.4, but actually when I'm going to post it, it's going to be page maybe 30, 29, and then I have troubles, if I have my own pages on my own computer kind of named differently. It creates issues for me when they're named other way on Instagram or my website or whatnot. So this is kind of would be my overall process. I'll just do very rough lines, just go over things, have pages like this or pages like this, and that would be it. That would be the first pass. You actually look and it's like not exactly the first path. So for example, something like this is what I would create with my first path. That would look like this, very rough. I might have like a character's face more or less drawn. I don't want to call it even drawn, but at least you see like eyes, nose, and mouth, and a lot of other things. Like, do you know it's a face? I don't know. I know it is a face, but for people who don't know, they might not know. And what the hell is this? You don't know. And, maybe I even don't know, actually. What is that? Oh, this is like magic whoosh, the beginning of this kind of scene. Never mind. That was not important for me to clarify. And sometimes I have pages like so, then like so, kind of like figure it out, Christina, later on. But so this would be the first pass. Then I start, as I said, do a second pass where I think where I can expand upon the scene, which scene needs more pages. I'll add them. Usually I do it in chunks. Sometimes I do have bursts of plotting, and then I have like some block because I think that whatever I came up with is not the smoothest way to connect the dots that I need to connect. And then I think about it for a couple of days while finishing up, let's say, the chapter that I currently painting. This is the chapter 9. I have just one page left, is this one. But I pause to do the lines first because I like to do the lines for the next chapter before completely finishing chapter before it. And then when I finish the lines, and they can go and finish the colors and then jump directly into colors here. Ideally would be to finish all the lines for the whole chapter, but I'm okay with finishing, let's say, lines for the scene. Then I can continue with colors. Let's kind of give you a tour about of what is going on in this particular line state as of now. And to just explain what's going on, I'm going to do it, for example, on one scene, actually maybe two scenes that are happening, to kind of show you my work in progress, so maybe it helps. So let's first, I kind of have to drive you through what's happening in the scene so you understand a little bit. So I have to kind of explain my drawing because they kind of look horrid. So I have, in this scene, we have past showing like a flashback of two characters from the present of the story, Avery and Zorzesh. And so basically what's happening, Avery is training. She is apprentice of a temple. Basically, serves in the very specific temple in this world, and she's practicing with her swords, kind of training herself. It's going to be relevant later why these swords are important and how eventually she will become a swordsman, a certain type of swordsman. Anyway, it's not really important right here, but basically she's training with wooden swords. We see her swooshing the sword, her determined face, she's like doing all the swirls, and then we have Zorzesh interrupting her, making her fall, which is unclear, but she basically slips and falls. And then she berates him because he's not allowed in the temple, because this temple is only for people of her race and only for females, because of the nature of how things are in this world in general, how people are divided in religion. So basically she berates him for that and kind of drags him. She kind of grabs him by his shirt and drags him away from the temple. And as he does so, he glances back, and we see them standing over here in the opening and see kind of like the back of the statue of darkness. This is the goddess of Kondra, people of Avery's race. And yeah, we just see a little bit of a glimpse, so it's a little bit mysterious. We get some hints of, some information about gods a little bit in the story, but this is kind of the first time we're kind of introduced to the concept of statues of them existing in temples. And I don't want to reveal everything yet, but, it's kind of like talking through context, because we see by the shape that they're referring to her as she in the story. So we know that this is a goddess. And we see kind of the ears, kind of the same ears that kind of Kondras have, like people of her race, they have pointy ears. We kind of see like extra pointy, extra long ears, and we see long hair. So, and then Zorzesh is basically saying that she looks beautiful like you. So kind of give like a little bit of idea of how darkness or her statues might look like. So yeah, Avery drags him away, and then asks him why he even came by the temple. In reply to that, he presents her with ganja, which is just some pastry in the eastern province, and she immediately calms down because she really likes this ganja. And basically then they sit down, she starts eating it, saying thank you, and asks him what is the reason. And this conversation is not super plot relevant. It kind of communicates to us a little bit of a backstory of Zorzesh, because we do not know much about these characters yet. Like, they already appeared in the story, but we do not know full scope of them. They're kind of related to the mystery a little bit, like the mystery of the whole plot. So their past kind of will reveal a lot of the conflict of the story. So the kind of revealing bits by like small bits of it. And Zorzesh, this is kind of, we don't know who he is and what, he specializes this, like what type of magic he is, what he's good at. We don't know that. But in this conversation, we kind of have the preview, because Avery is asking what's the reason, why he brought ganja, why his mom made a ganja, and he kind of tells her that there is a reason, and to which I have this absolutely empty page that I will be working on with you. He kind of explains to her that he was picked to continue his studies as a storyteller, and a storyteller is basically a person who can wield certain language to basically program the world. Like, it's very powerful magic in the way that it does not really have limits. It's very difficult to learn. The language is very complex and usage is very specific, but it's basically coding the world with this language. So basically he's saying that he was picked to continue his studies, and he's very happy about it. And he's just telling her kind of in more of a context, not super directly about this, that yes, he will now go to another city to study with a proper master, and master it. as he's talking about this, Avery gets called, and she mentioning like the lady that called her by Maj, and she's the big sister, or otherwise like the lady who kind of the main priestess of this temple. Temples here called Ahildajas, but it's kind of relevant for this video. But he basically tells Zorzas to stay right here in the bushes near the temple as she comes out to greet the big sister, and we see kind of big sister in the distance, and then we'll also hear that the sister mentioning that there is a guest that is with her that came from Kalyanol, and Kalyanol is the capital city of kind of like Silana of this world, and we kind of, it's not super important right now why I mention it, but it's important to keep reinforcing to the reader that, hey, Kalyanol is the capital, kind of like the central city, that's important place, important location, so that the name kind of floats. And then we see Zorzas poking out and asking, like, ooh, kind of like Kalyanol? Cool. And he also mentioned that the guest is not a Kondra either, so he's kind of like being like, hey, you said that I'm not allowed here, but she is, what the hell? And then Maj is saying that the guest came a long distance, but she's native to Eastern province. And as Avery approaches, we don't have as readers, like people who read this do not have a lot of context for this, but Avery kind of looks shocked as she sees the guest, this lady, and we already saw kind of this lady in like mysterious flashbacks. So readers would recognize this lady, but they would not know who she is. And here it's kind of important to kind of reinforce how other characters react to this character, like to this lady, because for now we don't have context of who exactly she is or what she is, what she represents, like her status and whatnot. And we see a reaction face from Zorzas from behind the bushes. He calls her Eshikendo, and he kind of shocked to see her. So we kind of get the idea, we get the name of who she is, like what is she, and we kind of get informed that it is something special. And we'll also see Avery kneels, like literally just floors the ground. Can you see that? Say that? Floors the ground. Like she basically is totally on the ground, kneeling intensely when she sees her. So we get like some more context. Okay, she's hella important. She's either has very high stature in this society, or she's very powerful, or she's kind of dangerous. I don't know. We don't know. But this is kind of some hint about who this character is. And then basically this character tells her that she wants Avery to go to Kalyanol with her, because Avery has a special destiny. And this character mentions destiny several times. And we start getting idea that this character, or whatever this character is, has something to do with destiny or whatnot. And she's basically giving a little bit of foreshadowing, or like, is it a foreshadowing if it's like happened in the back, in the flashback? Because it's already all came to fruition by the time we're now in the present, even though the reader doesn't know the whole picture yet. I'm not sure. You let me know. And this is where that scene ends. But the story of this is kind of like a scene within a scene. And then we cut to Avery waking up. She's grown up. She's in human world right now. We already saw her in human world. Basically, we pick up where we left off with the previous chapter. She sits on the bed. She was injured a couple chapters before in her leg. She wakes up. She looks outside. I wrote that it's still night because it's kind of important, because this night a lot of different scenes are happening at the same time. And so, yeah, it was important, like memo to myself, is that still night. It's important to show that it's night and confirm that. Then she comes out to the kitchen where Zorzas, who is already adult too, is sitting. They're going to talk about her injury and that she's healing. Then we have her coming out of the bedroom where she was, and kind of Zorza is facing her. And I wanted kind of to have some sort of parallel between these shots, kind of she's standing on one side kind of in the darkness and he's standing on the other side in the light. I wanted to have this to be a parallel to this shot that I had earlier on when they were as a kids, to kind of like show that they are very different and they come from different backgrounds, and yet they always seem to be together in some sort. They're still together all these years after, even though they're different people with different story, they're different race, there's a lot of different things about them. And Avery is represented by darkness and he's represented by light, because there's a corresponding gods that presumably created these races in this world. But yeah, this kind of like, I drew this shot more detailed just because kind of wanted to make sure there's some parallel. In the same way, kind of very similar shot, she is passing by him kind of the same way that she did earlier. And in this scene, she kind of explains, and she also kind of references food here. I just thought it would be a nice kind of callback and just showing parallels between the past and the future, and show kind of the difference juxtaposed with things that are the same. And we don't know the relationships between these characters yet. So then she kind of explains certain things that happened in the plot before that she was up to. And Zorza is getting angry because she was doing some dangerous things without him knowing. And this is where we know that they actually married, and clearly the nature of their relationship is not standard as you would expect married couple to be, because, you know, she'd been away for some time doing something in secret and he is okay with her doing that. He's just not okay that she was doing something dangerous without letting him know. And he's kind of reminded her that he is indeed her husband and she should be there to help her. And this is where we get a little bit of hint of a history here, because her face from defiant on the first panels comes to concern and maybe a little bit ashamed, because then she says that being her husband led her to led him, and both of them and him specifically, to something that is not great. And this is like total sketch, but she's showing like touching marks on the back of her neck that the readers don't yet have the whole grasp of what it means, but they kind of have started to have glimpses, and kind of this is like another hint that it's not good to have them. It's not good to have two, and we never seen people have two just permanently. So yeah, so it's like just a little hints, and then they start talking about plans, how they're gonna go through the dangerous situation that she kind of started, and a little bit of a plot. I'm not going into details because there will be a lot of explaining that needs to be done here, and it's for the sake of this video. Then when talking about lines, it's just not necessary. And basically what's important that he's mentioning that talking about another character in the story, and about the fact that Zorza is just happy that this character is not kind of involved in the original plan now. And I've already mentioned that Zorza cannot protect this character from his destiny. And this is again where the word destiny comes in, and we start getting hints a little bit of potential, like kind of hints of what potentially might have gone down between flashback and now. So something about destiny still was relevant. Something happened in between that maybe that Avery feels ashamed about. She feels like he let Zorza down, even though they're still together and they still have each other's back. But Zorza kind of mentions that he already heard somebody who was talking about destiny, and this woman is dead now. And this correct lady that we saw from the flashback, she is dead, and readers know that. So it kind of like adds like small hints of, you know, small bits of information of the puzzle that will connect later on. And then from there, we also kind of get emphasis about the place, because they're in the human world. This is like a panel where we see them, not drawn very well, but they're in front of the window, and I drew some skyscrapers. They're in the human world, so it's kind of like, again, to juxtapose like where they are versus where they were, and show how different it is. And then basically Zorza's asking what they're going to do next, and Avery is saying that kind of like that they still have the plan and they will go forward with it. And she's mentioning that she needs her blades. And this is kind of where we're thinking, oh, okay, so whatever she was training with, something was up with these blades. And this is the cutaway to another scene. This is another character from another scene. So it's like another scene starts energetically, right, blending the page of the previous scene, because the scene that we will be jumping into is dynamic. So we're not going to be talking about this scene here, but also about the blades. Something that I should have mentioned is that the blades are the real blades. So originally she is training with wooden sticks. She is not with real blades, and we see the actual blades on the back of the big sister, the high priestess, like the priestess that basically runs the temple. We see these blades here, or at least we don't know, like, this is these blades, like the blades that Avery now would be wielding, but we see the actual real two double blades, the actual metal on the back of this lady. So it's kind of, again, gives us hints of what might have gone down, or, you know, kind of like, again, bits and pieces to connect the whole picture. So this is kind of, I ran you by the scene overall, how I have it, and now so that you can understand context a little bit more of what I will be doing. So in fact, this page, I'm actually cool with this page, even though it's not totally like cool in the sense that when I do the second passes, I want to make sure lines are workable for color, so I can jump from these lines straight to color. So obviously something like this is not usable because there is no lines except like this smiling sneaky face of Zorzash that's just sketched out. Obviously something, let's say, like this is not workable because these characters are not really detailed. Like, I'm not sure where different parts of the characters are, just start like shading, and, you know, this one needs to be detailed a little bit more. These pages are a little bit better, but, you know, I try, like, this is not okay. Like, this type of lines is not great. But something like this, the page that I just finished, this is kind of what I'm okay with. What are the acceptable lines for me to start drawing, mostly because all parts of the characters are drawn through. Like, I know this is arm, this is hand, this is head, this is an ear, this is hair. All kind of parts of the character are drawn through, and I know where everything kind of is. And it's okay, for example, that this hand is not super drawn through. It's okay. This is details that can, you know, put together, but it's kind of drawn through that this is the shoulder, this is kind of like the arm itself, this is elbow, and this is the wrist. And this is already important for me to like add details such as fingers and specific position of the fingers. And I know that, for example, contact of the characters with the ground is planned through, so they're not floating. So something like structural things are drawn through. So this page was workable for me already. And as I started this video, it already was here that I just finished this page basically, and I can show you actually how the page looked before. This was the original sketch for the page, and obviously it was not very workable. And now, oops, so let's do a better transition again. So this is the before, this is after, and this is workable. I can work with it. The same kind of logic for the first pages. This is pretty much workable. This maybe you can say, hey, listen, it's really still very sketchy, but it's okay because I like the proportions are fine. And I see the shoulder, I see the neck, I see the edge of the suit, I see hair, I see ear. That's fine. The same is for here. Her, because she's falling, I didn't draw through because for something that is very, very dynamic, like her limbs are just all in some motion and she's kind of far away, it's easier for me to just draw it with colors from the start without having lines. So the same something like this, like it would be easier for me to just blend the eyes and whatnot in the process of, you know, drawing colors. I don't know, it just weird like that for me. For me, it's more important to hit this one correctly, so her eyes and her face expression is clear. Then this page is also fine for me, already ready to go. Like all the structural things are there. Again, if something is small, I'm fine with just starting drawing with colors. This page is also good to go. I see, you know, again, we see shoulder. Oh my goodness, my mouse has like fluff in it and doesn't move. Okay, so we have like a shoulder, we have an elbow, we have the wrist, it's all working, we have all the body parts. Again, it's not drawn like the wrists here, but they're obviously coming from here. I'm pretty sure I can handle it. The same for this page, as we already talked, done. This page I just finished as well. Still very rough, but I get it. I get what's happening. And now this page, not done. And this page is already too rough. And let me actually just, for example, for what I'm doing is to show you how I would go around, first of all, actually sketching the page, and then I will go around actually drawing the page better and what I'm kind of thinking. So let's open this bad boy up and let's group all the text layers so they're not on my way. What I like doing, I like to duplicate the layer with lines, because if I do something that I don't like and I kind of mess something up, I can always go back. And let's remove that. I know what's gonna happen. He's gonna have just a happy face in this one. And let's kinda, I also like to remind myself when the text is doing, also like my text here is usually like grammar basically does not exist here. It's really bad, and I have to usually go with Grammarly, and still I have typos, and still my readers have to let me know that something is not really English here. I also like to go through I'm sorry, actually, if you hear some crazy sounds in the background, it's my dryer finishing drying. You know how super loud it gets. I apologize. Every time I put both dishwasher and dryer and washer, this is where I get this inspiration to just record a video or record a podcast. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, so I like to remind myself on what's going with text. Let's see the previous page to this. Basically, she is saying thank you. He's saying a bad sister, so Hildash cook well, but probably Mama's Ganja, not Mama's Ganja level. And she said nothing is as good as that. And she asked what a special occasion. He says, well, and it means that, just checking dialogue, because sometimes it's not super mismatched. So he's saying, Master Lisar spoke to my parents this morning. He picked me up for further learning. That should go here. I'm going to study in Goya. I'm gonna be a storyteller. Oh, should I, again, here I can have creative things. I'm saying I will be a storyteller. That's maybe should go first. Master Lisa spoke to my parents this morning. Spoke to my parents this morning. And she says, he picked you for further learning. I'm going to study in Goya. Okay, and then this is what she is saying. No, I don't think. But see, it's important to say that this was, he picked him for the learning. He picked me for further learning. I'll be a storyteller. And I like to have my text kind of blocked into some pieces so I can just kind of block them and sketch where they are. And now I'm thinking, okay, so he's saying all of that. And as he does, he probably has excited face. I probably want to see his reaction, and the logically would probably have him kind of facing her, having her here a little bit. Then we probably need to grab this text and just move it like this so it's not on the character, because I do not like when the text is on the character. That's kind of the side of her head, and that's him. Oops, I just keep pressing the wrong hotkey. Yeah, and we have kind of just like to draw a straight line, because it immediately get me the idea of where the characters where they're looking, and ears really help. So he is kind of turning to her, and I like to bring shoulders a little bit up, which means he kind of leans towards her, and he should say it with like excited face. So I'm gonna raise his eyebrows, and I'm sketching at this point. So he is, and this one, so I know already what the face is. I don't need this line anymore because I decided to continue drawing. Sometimes I just could just keep it at that. So yeah, and we see his kind of like happy face. Yay, so happy. Good job, Georges. And maybe some excited eyes. To keep the eyes excited, it's really helped to really push them out of the lids. So we have like either a little gap between retina and the lid, or almost a gap, but you know, we want to have like the lid is not covering the retina because that is showing the excitement, and otherwise it will look tired. So he is like happy. Then let me just clean him up. So he's a kid here. He doesn't have a beard. He will have a beard later, but not in here. I don't know even when I'm trying. Like, it's not about being pretty. It still looks kind of horrible. Oh no. So that's kind of okay. And then I can go ahead and kind of sketch his hair. And yeah, excited guy. He's very happy. And maybe I just draw this kind of line too. Maybe I will add like some motion blur to show that between this page and the previous page, because he was sitting like this, so he just pushes himself out and kind of pushes towards her. So he's like, ksh, he just go like so. So to just reinforce that. And then we will have your, I'm thinking, should I just push her a little bit more? Like sometimes I'm like thinking about the composition too. It's actually, not like just sometimes, I'm thinking about composition because it is important how the eyes kind of float on the page. Maybe her face, like her head, should be a little bit smaller. And then here we have kind of shot reverse shot situation because she is reacting to him, and we have her. I'm just thinking, should I do a shot reverse shot, and then I'm thinking, so because I want on this, as you can see here, he is super smug. So I'm thinking I want to still draw him here because I also like, I feel like this needs a little bit more space, but I don't want to have 2 pages out of this. So maybe, okay, when Ivory gets cold, maybe this panel can be smaller, and maybe, let's see. Oh, she's saying stay here. Oh man, I feel like I'm trying for this one. I'm trying to fit so much in. So she's saying no way. Yeah, so my mom made these after learning that there is more at home for you to eat later. I thought I'd bring you one while I still warm. Oh man. Okay, let's remove the text. I feel like it's blocking me a little bit here. And let's see. I feel like she has to say, no way. No way. She's so happy for him. And because it's kind of shot reverse shot, I feel like they have to have similar sizes to their faces. And she's also excited. So she also kind of leans towards him. And yeah, so we see a little bit of her shoulders. And that's would be him. And she's saying, no way. Right? That's what she's saying. She's so excited. Okay, so that's kind of, maybe I'll block her for now, like so. And I want to almost like have an edge to her. I don't know. And so there's no way. And then he is saying, okay, I feel like we can first of all raise the whole thing a little bit to fit some more things. I feel like we can leave this dividing line a little bit like so. So we have a little bit more, go away. A little bit more space for Avery's head. Alternatively, I can actually kind of get it smaller. Okay, so see, that's actually shows you the real process of these things, because we don't need this size. Like, it's important, but not that important to have crazy zoom on his face. I think we get it. I think we get it, that it is important what he feels. And then from there, Avery's panel can go down a little bit and have a little bit more space. And there you go. Yeah, that feels much, much better. And she is kind of saying, no way, she's happy. Let's do this so I reinforce that she is happy. She has her eyebrows all raised up. She is excited. Her eyes are wide open. Yay. So happy. Well, she looks a little angry, but, you know. As we found out already earlier, she has a little bit of temper. So, yeah, let's give her excited eyes. Yay, she's happy. And because I just love drawing, I'm just gonna draw absolutely unnecessary hair strings. It's absolutely not needed, but you know. She's saying, no way. And he is, I feel like there's more panels. You know, like she's giving, so basically he's telling her that there's more ganja at home, but she thought to bring her one while it is still warm, and she's gonna make her jokes. She's like, that's very smart choice. Now I can see why they picked you. And he looks all smug, and she's kind of making kind of fun, but like in a good way. And this is a reminder for a reader that it's storytelling is about brains, and it's kind of like, it's not necessary for the plot, but I feel like it's gonna add so much, like just vibes, and I don't want to cut it, but it's not enough space. I'm happy for you, Zorzash. Maybe she doesn't need to say that. It's obvious. She's already excited. We get it. So probably we get out of this. And maybe, let's see. So let's, again, also let's duplicate the layer just in case. If I want to go back to something. So maybe we move her a little bit to the right. And maybe she says, no way, here, and we bring these bubbles down here. So it goes, not ideal. It's not the best. It's a little crowded over here, but let's see him talk. We see maybe his ear, his cheek, and yeah, he is maybe the back of his hair, his neck, good stuff. And then basically he's telling this to her. Oh, it's so much. Maybe this has to be, these one we can't probably blend this with this guy. Okay, not perfect, but ugh. Yeah, let's try. Oh my goodness, it's crowded. Oh goodness me. Okay, let's see. Maybe I just, oops, I'm grabbing the wrong layer. Maybe I just move her even more this way. Maybe I can scale him a little bit down. I feel like I need to raise him more, so we see a little bit under his chin. I just feel like it's a little bit, oops, better composition overall. Ugh. Yeah, he's saying, okay, that feels better. And then we can have, but what you were doing there with the sticks. Okay, Okay, this is where he's teasing her about the sticks and kind of reminded the reader that sticks are kind of important. Okay. Then I'm thinking, okay. So it should be the same kind of shot. So I'm just gonna copy the basic setup because, you know, the camera is still looking the same kind of way, and except the text bubble is gonna go here, and she is kind of teasing him, so she goes like a little bit evil eyes. What is she doing? Wait, she's having like, I think she has to go like, oh no, I think I want a different expression for her. Kind of like one brow up. She's like, maybe something like this. Well, that's a little too angry. That's a little too angry. Oh gosh, she looks evil. Let's maybe have this brow a little bit more relaxed. And have this one, and maybe she grins instead of having her. Maybe this, I'm not sure, but then let's just rotate his face and show how smug he is about it. He's so happy that she called him smart, even though he should know. He's like, I want him to look kind of cute. Let's see, he's not looking super cute yet. Oh my god, I'm not sure why I'm trying to draw his shoulder. It's kind of, I want to draw this almost like an anime face reaction, but my comic is not stylized this way. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this. How am I gonna draw this caricature kind of like smug face? Well, being, oh god. I just almost want to do this. Oh god, it kind of looks creepy when you do like realistic one. Let's just give him some cheeks. Yeah, we'll see how I'm gonna end up drawing this in the end. He's like biting his lip a little bit. I don't know, maybe this is something that I will have to figure out when I do it in color. I feel like he needs to, his shoulders should be more on the way, like so. Oh man, just not the best. I feel like oh no, I applied a lot. That's not great. Some lot from work, oops, that I've been using. Oh god. See, like, I feel like I'm spending way too much time on this right now, but I wanna get it right, and for now it looks kind of wrong. I feel like his whole face should be tilted, like so. It should be a little bit more like this, and a little bit more down. No, like so. Let's see. Yeah, it was way odd. Okay, he needs his neck. Let's give the boy his neck back. Okay, I'm just gonna have it like so. Oh no, it just does not look good. It just does not look right, you guys. You see the real struggles. I feel like he needs to be from the side then. You see his nose. And he's like smiling. God, I fucking hate it now. It's not working. Ah! Okay. Let's see, maybe I can still... It worked better when I did a caricature. Oh, goodness gracious. Ugh. Yeah, sometimes it's just, you know, the lines can take forever. That's also a thing. Maybe I can draw some stars. I don't know. Okay. I'm fine with this. For now. Okay. Now... And here he is asking her what she was doing with the stick. I feel like the whole composition of the page is a little bit one-sided. Sorry. I have to... It's just when I'm looking at it, it has to be moved. Okay. So now... She's asking her about the sticks. And he's like, but what? Okay, this one I think so he's kind of now was looking from another angle. He's like leaning sideways and be like, hey, but what you are doing with these sticks? And she's like, immediately changes the mood and gets all defensive. You saw nothing. And I think we can do a pointy finger because she already pointed a finger before, so it might as well be her gesture. You saw nothing. Though, when I imagined this scene in my head, she didn't point the finger. Oh, gosh. You know, you guys would not imagine that drawing doodles takes so long, but it does. And she's like, you saw nothing. And she's kind of like, maybe angry. Maybe she looks kind of like very angry and intense. But I want her to have more like wide eyes. No? That's kind of gonna be not looking good as a profile, already can tell. And she's like, you saw nothing. Oh god, she's not even looking at him. Oh, that's not a pretty face, but we're gonna leave it for now. It's more important to have emotion showing. And she's kind of like, have like a little growl. Okay, so we see her neck. That's good. That's good. And she is also a little bit blushing because she's not really angry. She's a little bit embarrassed. So, and that's her shoulder. And her back is like this. Okay. And okie dokie. So he is saying, okay, what you were doing with the sticks? And she says, you saw nothing. And she gets called. Okay, I can't believe I almost fit everything that should happen on this page here. So we have her, we have somebody's calling her off the screen. And okay, and just to show myself, help myself with emotions, we're gonna see some nothing. And I'm thinking, again, for compositional purposes, just to give, not even compositional, but just to give a little bit of more space to him. Yeah, it's a little bit tight page. Okay. So, and so now I'm thinking he is, she's telling him, she's kind of climbing over him to get there. She is like, oh shit, this is MASH. You stay there. Don't I have stay there on the next page? Okay. No, actually I have to save. That reminded me that this page was not safe. Oh, it needs more space, you guys. Do you really need their heads this big? Oh man. Probably not. That's small. Make it smaller. Okay. Well, that's not that intense, but it will help the rest of the page. And oops, we can then move it here, and then this page gets a little bit more space. Okay, so she has to kind of climb out of here, like cross him and go out to cross, and at the same time she should say stay here. Let's see, maybe she's not climbing right now, maybe she's like alarmed. She's like, oh shit, somebody's calling me. I can definitely, yeah, okay, maybe she is, and let's see, they have to be moved to the right. Oh goodness, see, the lines are not that easy because it's kind of like you're drawing but you're also writing. So she is, no, why, how Discover thingy gets summoned, and I wonder what is he doing here. I think, no, I don't like him staring straight. Just make it look so staged and weird. Let's just grab, oh, let go away. We're just grabbing him from here, and instead of looking at her, he's like, he's maybe looking sideways to here. And maybe she's a little bit too turned. She needs to maybe be like, I just needed to copy this whole thing earlier. She goes maybe like, huh. She turns her face and be like, ooh, they're calling me. Oh, she has like a hump. There you go. Yeah. That's better. Ugh. Oh, God. Yay. Okay, that's good. Smash, stay here. Okay. Oh my God, we made it. I'm going. Oh, the storyteller. There you go. And then she says, no way. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. There. Okay. Then finally, the stage. Oh my goodness, the stage. The page starts to look decent, at least planning wise. I just need to still play with composition a little bit to make sure. Let's just save it too. Let's make sure. Oops. So it's more spaced out. a little bit more breathing room and air. I still think we can scale him down here a little bit and scale him down here a little bit too. Okay, I think we're good, actually. I think even what we can do, we can grab this and move it a little bit here. I think it's gonna look great because the head's gonna be like popping out, so showing the emphasis on the shot. Okay, we fought and we won. I'm gonna save it so we have this page filled. And yeah, and now I just want to show maybe how does it look like when the page is finally looking more or less ready to go. I'm gonna just do this page because, you know, you guys already bored enough with me just struggling in here. Okay, we have this dramatic thing. I'm gonna keep it. Oops. And let's just work through. So as I said, when I'm kind of preparing pages for drawing, I just need to make sure everything kind of covered. It's understandable where the characters are, what's going on. So for this one, I'm just gonna emphasize her hair so I don't forget what I meant, and I wanted her to have this kind of hair braided in the top of her hair or top of her head, and they kind of like fluffy and cool looking on the back, and she has the blades, and this is actually the proper shape of the kind of like the handle of the blades, kind of looking like so. And yeah, I wanted her hair to just kind of be everywhere. I wanted to have just this cool massive hair. And also what I need, kind of show this is where her head is, and she has to have the same kind of dressing as Ivory, so something like this. I also want to emphasize that this top priestess is muscular, so I remember this because it's important. They are kind of like not warriors, but like physical strength and stamina is important for them. And I add the tail because she's a Kundra and she has a tail and some ears. Perfect. And then this is good. Herself is good to go. And then let me draw her a little bit. She actually, I don't need to really try hard because I already drew her, and she has these kind of things on her. I just know that she has. And maybe I just draw like kind of where her hand is, where's her body is. Oh no, it's too tight. She looks like a little bit too uptight in here, and she shouldn't. She's a confident lady. Let's see. Oh man, no. Do you believe in destiny, the daughter of Ahildashi? She is asking her, and she probably should ask her on this page instead. Because here we kind of see her kind of reveal who she is and who that is, and I think her shoulder is too small. I think that's what it should be. A little bit here. So drawing the lines for me, it's not really about prettiness. Like pretty lines I don't really care about because you do not see the lines in my final, let's say, product. It's all full color, so I don't need to really worry. Lines are for me to know where to strike initial kind of color strokes, like this, the color fill. And we see her hair too, and her ears are normal because she's a Kando, she's not a Kundra. And yeah, we kind of, I think that's nice. Let's do before and after. Before and after, more clear. I think Ivory actually is good in here. She is actually looking fine. And then a little bit of more emphasis on her. Her name is Kilja Dosair, and she is Hellingford. And let's just give her a little bit more of a boost here. Just reminding myself that she has this kind of shoulder piece on both shoulders. She has this thingy. I forgot the name of this, unfortunately. Yeah, so actually that would be more or less it for the lines for this page, because now I understand what's going on, and everything else that I draw, maybe, you know, I want to go and draw the ear a little bit better. None of this really matters because I totally can do it in color, and that would be wasting the time, and I actually should just go and jump on another page. So actually, another thing I might have for shoulder. Oops. Killjoy is taller than Maj. Interesting. Well, then Maja's here. And Maja's beautiful hair. Oh, it's nice. She has like a very nice silhouette. Perfect. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good for this page. Let's save it. And then I have just this page and this page to draw through the lines, and obviously these lines are still sketchy. I need to draw like a proper pass on these ones, but I think you guys get the idea. And I know that I'm also drawing and doing it faster when I'm not filming myself, so I decided that I'm gonna wrap it up right here. And at least now you know my process, and maybe it helps you a little bit to see how things are with lines and how I work on my lines. And it's not sped up, it's real time, and I explain what I do as I do it. So hopefully it is interesting for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in my next one. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.